James Kennedy exploded when he learned that Brock Davies had planned on eloping with Sheena Shea during his engagement party on Tuesday's episode of Vanderpump Rules. The 29-year-old reality star had orchestrated an elaborate multi-day engagement party at a Santa Ynez vineyard to celebrate his engagement to Raquel Leviss, 26. Their families had flown in for the event and were seated at their tables in the garden of the vineyard when Lala Kent, 31, broke the news to James of Brock's secret plan. James immediately summoned Brock, who admitted they had been thinking of secretly getting married during the weekend, but that Sheena, 36, shot it down. "You were just going to get married where I was having my engagement party without me being there? Dude, so much wrong with that," said James. "So disrespectful. You should work on knowing your place a little bit more." "What do you mean, knowing my place?" Brock asked. James told him that he had spent thousands of dollars on the weekend event. "You haven't put a effing penny in Brock," said James. Brock said that the summer isn't all about James and Raquel getting married, and James said no, but that this weekend was. Brock started yelling at James that they were being respectful because Sheena wasn't even wearing her engagement ring. James couldn't believe he was being yelled at during his own engagement party and put his hand in Brock's face. Then James walked away and Brock asked him where he was going. James said he didn't want to talk to him because he was yelling at him in front of his family. "You're rude, you're obnoxious, and you don't give a F about anyone but yourself," said James. "I'm embarrassed for you." James stormed over to talk to Lala when Sheena jumped in and yelled that she didn't say anything about her engagement at the party. Lala told her to calm down and to get her finger out of her face. Tom Sandoval, 38, told Lala that this was a conversation that she got herself into. "This is one of my best effing friends," said Lala as to why she had to tell James. Sheena asked if she was just supposed to act like Brock didn't propose to her, and Lala said her behavior was tacky as F. Adriana Maddox, 36, jumped in and told Lala she was twisting the facts. Lala told her to crawl back in her hole. Ariana said later in a confessional that there was really no need for Lala to tell James right in the middle of the party about Brock and Sheena being engaged. Raquel was upset and asked Sheena if they were such good friends why she didn't tell her that she and Brock were engaged. Sheena said that they had planned to tell them the morning after their engagement party. James and Raquel's families sat at their tables listening to all the arguments. Sheena started crying and told Raquel that she hadn't worn her ring because she didn't want to take anything away from her party. Raquel said in a confessional that the fact that Sheena considered getting married during their Santa Ynez engagement trip was disrespectful in itself. "But then to tell everyone about their engagement and not include us, who does that?" asked Raquel. "Do you understand why it sucks to be the last to know?" Raquel asked Sheena. "Save the best for last," said Sheena, but Raquel rejected that reasoning. Even James' mother came over to talk to the group and told them they should have some grace and let James and Raquel celebrate their engagement. In a confessional, James said it was embarrassing for Brock. "Can you even call this a man?" he said. James then walked up to Brock, who was talking to Tom Schwartz, 39, and he told him that he wanted them to leave. James told Schwartz he didn't want him here anymore and that he had ruined his night. Brock agreed and walked off. Brock told Sheena that he was leaving and she asked, "Am I kicked out too?" He said if she wanted to stay then she should stay. He told her since the cat was out of the bag that she should just put her ring on and stay. In a confessional, Brock said that the group was hard to deal with and that he has to do more for their approval. He then said if they didn't like him that he didn't care. James said that Brock had lost a friend and that his respect for him went out the window. He said that Brock's planning was cheap and nasty. Lisa Vanderpump, 61, walked up to James and Raquel and said she was proud about how in spite of what happened that James held it together. In a confessional, James said that in the past this would have ruined his entire night but that he just decided he was going to flip the script and have a great night. Sheena stayed at the party and said in a confessional that she knew what it meant to be part of this group. She said some friends were meant to be together. The episode titled Engagement Party Crashers started on a lighter note with the longtime friends having fun on the events that James and Raquel had arranged, including a yacht party. Schwartz spoke to Sandoval about being stressed about being behind on their bar launch. Sandoval told him that they would pull it off. The two toasted to early retirement. After the drinks started flowing on the boat, everyone started dancing and loosening up. Sheena pulled Brock aside on the boat and told him that she was having second thoughts on their secret wedding idea. She told him that they needed to put what they wanted on hold out of respect for James and Raquel. "This isn't what I want," Sheena said to Brock. She said she wanted to tell all her friends that she was engaged rather than keep it a secret. Ariana and Sandoval also discussed the secret marriage idea. Ariana said that there can't be any weird vibes and that they should ruin James and Raquel's huge and amazing day. Sandoval agreed. After the boat, the group went to a farm to pet baby alpacas while Raquel, James and Lisa went horseback riding. Sheena pulled Ariana aside at the farm and told her they were not going to do the secret wedding. She said they were excited to get it done but didn't want to do it to seem like they were trying to steal James and Raquel's thunder. Meanwhile, James told Lisa that he had actually never been horseback riding before. She was surprised. "You are so used to acting like a horse's ass, I can't believe you have never been on one," Lisa said to James. Halfway through the trail ride, they came up on an elaborate picnic table lunch that Lisa had arranged as a surprise for them. They were shocked that she had arranged an elaborate lunch for them. James has always been a wild card, but I'm rooting for him and I'm rooting for this marriage, Lisa said in a confessional. "I hope that James realizes how lucky he is to have a woman like this in his life." James told Lisa that she had helped him so much in his life. In a confessional, James said that Lisa was the first person that told him that he needed to stop drinking. He said that her blessing means everything to him. He said that she was one of the most important people in his life. At the farm, the group took a break from the alpacas to sit down and have some champagne and Brock said he wanted to make a toast. Sheena got up with him and told everyone that they had gotten engaged a couple of days ago and that her ring was stunning and massive. She said she wasn't wearing the ring because she didn't want the weekend to be about her. Lala looked stunned. In a confessional, Lala said, "What the F are you talking about? In real time, we are watching you make this about you." Brock then told everyone that he came up this weekend with a little bit of a side hustle plan. He said they were thinking of sneaking away and doing something ceremoniously. He then pointed out that the only people who knew about their plan was Sandoval and Ariana. Sandoval did not look happy that they had singled him out. Scheana said she was going to go along with the plan, but that she just didn't feel right about it. Scheana asked them not to say anything to James and Raquel. On the day of the event, Raquel's father showed up and she told him that she was so glad that he was there and for giving his blessing to James. He told her that he didn't say no but that he didn't say yes. Raquel said in a confessional that her father had always been protective of her and had a funny sense of humor. James met with his mother and family and friends before the event. Raquel told James that she felt overwhelmed with love seeing everyone and that she was ready to give a welcome speech. Raquel thanked everyone for coming as she spoke to them on a balcony. She told them the first time she met James how when she heard his accent that it was game over. James from behind and out of sight helped Raquel with the speech. She told them that James surprised her with such a thoughtful proposal that she knew that just shows me that he was going to be dedicated to me for the rest of our lives and I feel the same about him. Ariana and Katie were emotional at their table and they told Lisa they were crying not just because of Raquel's speech but also because Randall Emmett, 50, called them and told them that he and his partners wanted to invest $150,000 in their sandwich business idea. "Wipe your tears, you are on your way," said Lisa congratulating them. Sandoval told them that he and Schwartz were very proud of them. Scheana showed Lisa her engagement ring that she was carrying around in her purse. Lisa told her that you cannot get engaged here. Scheana told her that it didn't happen there. Lisa told her to not mention it. Scheana said she wasn't going to, but just didn't want to leave it in her hotel room. She said that Brock wanted to even get married this weekend. "You can't get married at someone else's engagement party," Lisa said. Scheana said she planned to tell Raquel and James, but Lisa told her that they didn't need to know at all this weekend. Lisa said let them have their moment. Lisa said in a confessional that Brock and Scheana needed to hide their engagement for the weekend. "I don't care where you hide it," she said. "Stick it up your hoo as far as I am concerned do not mention it." Katie pulled Lala aside to gossip about Brock and Scheana's engagement bombshell. Lala wondered if they should give James and Raquel a heads up. Lisa spoke to Sandoval about why their bar was taking so long to get off the ground. He told her that he felt stressed out when she spoke to him about the bar. Lisa said her concern just came out of a place of love. Before being aware of Brock's bombshell plans, Raquel asked Scheana at the party if she would be one of her bridesmaids. Scheana said yes. As soon as Lala saw this she decided she had to tell James and Raquel what Brock and Scheana had discussed. In a confessional, Lala said that this wasn't sitting well with her. She immediately left the table and went to talk to James. She told him that Brock and Scheana were engaged and had planned on getting married during their engagement weekend, outraging James. Vanderpump Rules will return next week on Bravo.